So I got the X-Sense Link Pro combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. I chose this one because it comes with the base station inside the box, and it's important because if you've never set up one of these wireless systems before, you need the base station so you talk to each other.
So this is what basically comes in the box. This unit has five detectors. And this here comes with a battery in the back. This is the plate that goes up against the ceiling. And this goes right in there. You got some instruction manuals. And then most importantly is the base. Now this is the central base that will control every single one of these units. And once you set it up to the Wi-Fi, you can use your app to control them, set them up, test them, etc. And that's how, basically how it works. You know, when one of these goes off, the base station will relay that to your app, and that'll notify you wherever you are. It also comes with a plug, and this will connect your base station with the plug with the cable. Let's take a look at how to install these. So in my situation, I'm obviously just, redoing the ones that are up in the ceiling. I'm just replacing those. But if you're doing them fresh, the instructions say, do not put it up in the corner up there, because apparently there's something with the airflow that kind of will affect the detectors. What you want to do is obviously put them in the ceiling is the best place, or you could put them on the wall, maybe on top of the door, or not super high to the ceiling, someplace in the middle, and that should work as well. So take a look at this one. Everybody's gonna have a different system, but here, I basically unscrew it. I had already taken it out and disconnected it. You're basically gonna have a little wire here. And this wire is going to be on all of the units, probably, if you have this system, and that's what communicates with them. So when one goes off, the other ones get alerted as well. So you basically, take it out of there, and we're now gonna have to remove this plate to replace it with the new plate for the new detector. All you have to do is remove those two screws that are holding it. So everybody's situation is going to be a little different. For those of you that are putting the detectors on brand new ceilings or whatever, this came with some anchors here that will help you secure the detectors onto the ceiling. These are 1/4 inch, so you get a 1/4 inch drill bit, and you mark the holes right here, and you basically hammer in the anchor, and then you just kind of screw it in. Pretty easy. But in my situation, it doesn't work that well, because as you can see, the plate does cover, but the holes are barely outside of this gang box. And the problem with that is, if I drill something right there, it doesn't really have enough meat on the sides. And if I go to hammer that anchor in here, it's gonna totally break and it's not gonna hold. So in my situation, what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to measure these screw holes right here, and I'm gonna make holes in this plate so I can drill into these holes right there in the gang box where it was done before. And that should secure it pretty well. I'm gonna have to drill holes in here to match the gang box upstairs. And I'm gonna use this as a guide. So this was the old plate that was there. And I know that the screws were here and here. So what I'm gonna do is hold it down. I'm gonna mark it off with a pencil. Like this. And then I'm going to put a hole here and a hole here so I can drive the screws. Depending on the screws that you're gonna be using, for me, I'm gonna be using a 964 bit, and I'm gonna drill holes here and here to match up with the gang box. So you line it up. Then you do the other side. pretty much it. And this is a screw that I'm going to be putting in here. I want you to be aware of one thing. So I just want to test this out here. So see, what happens is you get the screw doesn't lay flat. And because the screw doesn't lay flat, this will not go in. So obviously this goes in through the grooves here with this, but it doesn't go in because this is protruding out. So what I need to do is do kind of like a countersink. So I'm going to use a bigger drill bit. I'm going to use a bigger drill bit and make a little bigger hole here so the screw sinks in and therefore the piece will go in nicely. So what I'm going to do is I got a 5/16 bit and I'm going to lightly screw around it. I'm not going to go all the way in, but I just want to create a little countersink so the screw just sits nice and flat. And then what I'm going to do is grab a slightly smaller bit to open up the hole right there. And then in my circumstance, that is great to making it flat. And now you should have no problem putting in the detector because it won't bother it. We're going to drill into these holes in the gang box right here. So I'm going to match up the holes that I did with the ones in the gang box. And here's the screw. So what you need to do is guide it in. And once you find a hole, you put it in and you kind of do it with your hand a little bit just to hold it in. And then you do the other one in the same way. And like I said, it could be a little tricky, but once you get it in, just manually do it with your hand a little bit. And then you push up. And that'll hold it in place. So then once it's in place, it's flat. This should go in no problem. Once it's up, you just do the other ones the same way. Once you have all the detectors connected, you're gonna have to connect the base first before you turn on the detectors. So connect it to the back right here. Then we'll connect it there. Once the light starts blinking, you come into here into the apps and make sure you download X-Sense right there. And you open that up. Once you open it up, the first thing you're gonna need to do is create a home. So you come here, you name the home, the region, the United States, and basically you list here, check off all the different places where you put in a detector. And once you do that, you customize the location and you hit create. So after you create your home, you'll have to hit this little plus right here in order to connect the base. And what we're searching for is the base station, which is what we want to connect. You see, it looks like that. That's the one we have. So you add that base station right there, and then it tells you to scan the back. So take it and scan the back. Once you scan the back, it'll take you to the screen here. Change the name if you want to. The home will be the home you created, and then you kind of select where you are located. So let's turn on the base station, press and hold the button, indicate for 5 seconds. So you come over here, and you hold this button here for 5 seconds until it flashes yellow. There you go. Once it turns yellow, you tap this operation confirm button right there, and then you click next. And now it's searching for the device. Make sure you're close because it uses Bluetooth. So once it picks up Wi-Fi, you put in your password, you hit done, and next. Make sure you enter the correct password. Password you entered, you'll just confirm.
Connecting to Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi connected.
Once it's finished, it says device added, and then you click finish. Once it's finished, you're gonna get the screen here, which basically lets you know that you can disable the alarm once it goes off by the base station. If you wanna keep that function, you just leave that alone. If you toggle that off, that means that the only way you can turn off the alarm if it goes off is through your app. So you decide what you wanna do. We'll keep that on, and then we'll save. And that's it. Now we're gonna be adding the devices. But before we add the devices, we gotta go back to the devices to activate them. So now what we wanna do is connect the devices to the base station so they all work together and work through the app. I do them one at a time so I can label them correctly and I know exactly where I'm putting each one, but this is basically how you do all of them. First thing you need to do is take out this little tab and it's gonna beep. There you go, and it flashes, etc. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna do the combination smoke CO2 because that's what we have. The one that we have is the SB550, so we click on that. And we have the SC07-MR, it looks the same, click on that. And then you fill in the information on where it is that you are going to put it. So this one is gonna go in second floor hallway. And we hit next. Hey, this is just telling you to remove the battery. So what we do is click this twice, 1, 2. Once it starts beeping, we click next.
Ready to add a device. Device added.
And it added the device. Then you click finish. And you go through and add all the other ones. All right, so once you have it all programmed with the base station, you just go to where it's supposed to be and you put it up. And that's it. Just do all the ones, all the other ones exactly the same way.